Audience, you bow to no one. Welcome back.
They don't deserve that line. What have they done?
They clicked on the video, dude. We just hit 200 subscribers. That's awesome. This is, of course, Lord of the Rings Revisited, where we rewatch, rank, and geek out over every Lord of the Rings movie in order. And yes, we have gone there and back again. This is what movie are we revisiting, Eric?
Finishing up the Lord of the Rings movies, we will be discussing the Return of the King.
That is correct. Return of the King
will go down in history.
Yep. Released in the US 17th of December 2003, a runtime, not the extended version, of 201 minutes with a budget of $94 million and a box office of $1.1 billion, directed by Pedro Jackson.
The one and only.
The one and only. Man, it is interesting going back to this movie. And honestly,
so sad, bro.
It is. It is a little sad.
I cried a little. Not gonna lie.
I got close. But honestly, this is the one where I have the most questions in this movie. Like, I don't know about a lot of things, you know? And we'll get into some of the magical facts and some things are answered for me when I did more investigation. But out of just like my base knowledge, I feel like I understand Fellowship the most. Two Towers is like, yeah, it's a lot of battles and it's exciting and fun. But this one's like, I'm not quite sure I grasp it still. So, but anyways, let's start it off as usual. Eric, how many times have you seen Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King? Did anything change your watching it?
Yeah. Return to King. I think it's my least watched.
Oh.
That doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. Still a good movie, and I think maybe I've seen it like 7, maybe 8 times. Something up there. But same, like I guess we'll get into it later, but so yeah, never mind. I'm not even going to touch on it.
Okay, all right, good.
Like, this is where I kind of rate it, and I was like, wait, we do that later. So never mind.
Right.
So yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. Good watch.
Sweet. Nate, how many times have you seen Return of the King? Did anything change your watching?
I've seen it a bunch of times.
It's
like
a family classic, some would say.
Yes, several times. So I'm not sure. It's great.
What is several times?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's double digits, but it might be. So there you go.
Cool.
Less, like, I don't know, less than or more than equal than 10. I don't know.
Okay. For me, I would say, just like Eric, this is probably my least watched one, which is another reason probably why I didn't understand it as much as some of the others. But yeah, I think this is probably like 5 or 6 times. And then again, still second time with the extended cut. And man, geez, the extended cut gives so much to this movie. So it's just like with the extended cut of the Two Towers, Jesus, of the Two Towers. I feel like it adds some things, but it doesn't add a whole lot for me. I don't know why. But the Fellowship and the Return of the King, the extended cuts like really flesh out, and like we're gonna get into some of the things that they cut, but it's like, you know, like, man, I wish this was in just the normal theatrical release.
Well, yeah, when it comes to this movie, there are scenes where you're just like flabbergasted that they cut it, because you're like, it makes so much sense to leave that in there, like story-wise.
Yep.
Like what?
Like what?
Because I don't remember. Like I said, I don't even know if I've seen the normal cut of this.
One of the things that you don't get to see is Saruman dying.
Introducing magical facts.
Magical
mean-
facts.
Oh yes.
While filming
yes.
Saruman's death scene on the extended edition DVD, Sir Peter Jackson tried to tell Sir Christopher Lee how to react and breathe after he was stabbed in the back. Lee, a World War II veteran with British Special Forces, assured
Excuse
Jackson
me, I have been stabbed.
he knew
No,
what a
dude,
man sounded.
I don't think he's been stabbed. I think he's stabbed
Yeah.
somebody in the back.
That he knew what a man sounded like when he stabbed in the back. It's like,
Oh.
dang, dude, that's intense.
Oh, you don't
and-
mess with that guy.
right? And even though Saruman's demise appears in the extended cut of the movie, Sir Christopher Lee was not amused that his character was cut from the theatrical release. In an interview done after the release of the extended edition, he acknowledged that the makers gave him several arguments for trimming the scene, pacing and time constraints, but in his opinion, none of them justified omitting such an important narrative element. As a result, Lee and Sir Peter Jackson had a brief falling out. Lee eventually agreed to appear in The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey and asked Jackson if his scenes had been cut when he was
Which we
invited to the
referenced.
premiere.
Which we referenced
Yep.
in one of those podcasts.
Yeah, that is like a what? Why? Why
Yeah.
would you take this out? And I remember it in the theatrical cut. They don't show any of it, him dying, none of that. It's just like, oh yeah, we're here with the Ents. We just, defeated Saruman. They don't show any of it. They just show Pippin going and grabbing the seeing eye,
Palantir.
the Palantir from the water. So like that was one. And then the other one for me is when Aragorn goes up and cuts off the head of like I don't know
Mouth
what
of
it's
Numenorian.
called.
The Black Numenorian.
He's you're talking about at the Black Gate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that guy's named the Mouth of Sauron.
The Mouth of Sauron, yes. And what a freaking cool character
Creepy!
design, dude.
Creepy.
Yes, it's
I know, dude. That
amazing.
guy's lip control is
And
out of this world.
Just the scream and just immediate like decapitation is like, wow. The first time I saw that, I was like, what the heck? Why was this not in the
you don't
cut?
need that.
It's
Come
but it's
on,
so
it is such a cool
No,
scene.
it 100% makes everything better. But you don't need it.
it's so unnerving. to watch.
Saruman, on the other hand, like, yeah, that just doesn't make sense because, like, you get the arc, you get his betrayal and fall in the first one, and then you get his ultimate defeat in the second one, and then you get his demise in the third one. I bet part of the reason why he justified cutting it is because that is not what happens at all in the books. In the books, Saruman and Grima Wormtongue escape and go take over the Shire. And that
Oh, that's
vision that Frodo has of the Shire being wrecked is kind of what Saruman does to the Shire. And his name is changed to Sharky so that nobody knows who it is. It's another one of those things that they made the right decision radically changing it, like what they did with Tom Bombadil.
Mhm.
And then I think Sam kills him or Pippin kills him. Somebody kills him. No. Grima still kills him. So that is the same.
Okay.
But it's also interesting because like just the hobbits deal with him, like literally just the four, and just the other hobbits like overthrow Saruman. And I get that he's been weakened, but still, it doesn't make sense. But so I bet like they're just thinking like we need to cut something. We filmed this, and it's like not really in the books anyway, and like maybe it's just we can chop it, but I still disagree. Like I understand that the runtime was insane, so I get that they're just between a rock and a hard place. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like you just completely ignore the end of that character's arc,
Yep.
and he's legitimately, I mean, honestly, he's like the main antagonist of the whole series because they don't really deal with Sauron too much.
Yep.
Yeah. So everybody watching is like, I know I was the first time. Like, what happened with Saruman?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you did. Yeah.
I don't want to know what happens. So, and then you just kind of like have to piece it together for yourself. Like, oh, okay, well, he got
Yeah, like I
captured
said.
or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure they just had some like, well, the book readers will know that he escapes to the Shire, and then the hobbits deal with him. But yeah, it still was
They're
not
taking
not
him
a great decision.
to the Shire.
They're taking Saruman to the Shire.
Some more magical facts about the movie.
More magical facts about the movie.
And by the movie, I mean like statistics. So,
Statistics.
the Lord of the Rings trilogy became the most nominated film franchise in Academy Award history, with 30 nominations, surpassing the Godfather trilogy, which had 29, and Star Wars film franchise, which had 21. This movie marks the second time in history that the third movie in a trilogy was nominated for Best Picture by the Academy Awards and Golden Globes, after The Godfather Part 3, and the only time that a third movie has won the Best Picture Oscar. And also, the film reel of the movie to be completed was done only 5 days before the world premiere in Wellington, New Zealand. It was still wet from developing because there was no time to dry. The premiere was the first time Sir Peter Jackson had seen the complete movie, and 100,000 people lined up to see the world premiere. That's roughly a quarter of that city's population.
Can you imagine? It's amazing.
It's just like, man, people love Lord of the Rings.
See, so it's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, dude, it's unbelievable what was accomplished with these films.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like they literally, I don't know, it's like a perfect film series, to be honest. Like the complaints that you have against it are like the CG hasn't aged perfectly, which is like there's literally nothing you can do about that. So yeah, well deserved.
Oh yeah, yeah, they did a very, very good job. I think that, they're one of the only ones that are like, yeah, you completed a trilogy, and it's amazing from start to end. Almost always in a trilogy, it's either one was good, two wasn't great, but three, yeah, they, at least they stuck the landing. Or it's most of the time it's one was good, two was amazing, and three fumbled it. We see that a lot.
Exactly.
So it just the
Spider-Man,
fact that
Batman.
Yep. So
Star Wars.
the fact that they got
Not the old Star Wars.
Yeah,
I don't know the new one.
Ewoks.
Oh my
Shut up. Ewoks are fine.
I agree. Fumble. It didn't fumble it, but it's not as good as the second one.
If it's your first time here and you like Ewoks,
go watch our Star Wars video.
I just poke at Nate a little bit. Just subscribe. That's the poke.
Do it, man. I'll fight you. I'll fight you about stupid Ewoks. We also have a video. It's very long where we rank all the Star Wars films, all the Star Wars films, including Solo and Rogue One.
Yes.
And yeah,
we planned.
And six is higher than I would like. Somehow, like Eric and Frank just took over that ranking. It's literally me and Wynnston and him and Frank, and they still like took over that ranking somehow. I don't know how that happened.
That's how it works. That's always how it's gonna work with Star Wars.
I think the only thing we got was that Revenge of the Sith was ranked higher than they would have liked. That's the only thing that we got.
Heck yeah. All right, gentlemen, let's get into ranking something else. Let's rank importance.
Importante.
It's the most important Lord of the Rings film of all time.
I can completely concur with that.
Even just from a cultural standpoint, from a pop culture standpoint, it's like, this is the one that won the Oscars. This is the one that like not made the majority of the money. Like, this is the one that got a quarter of Wellington into theaters. Like, this is the biggest one.
Okay, well, I have something to say about that. I feel like without Fellowship and the Two Towers, you have no Return of the King and nothing to look forward to. Everybody saw the first two movies and they want to see the climax. That is why you get that.
Yeah, I agree with Eric on that. But like, if you're talking about pop culture, come on, it's Fellowship, bro. It's Fellowship. Yeah. But if you're talking about importance to lore, importance to the story, I think this does go number one. So it kind of depends on, how you want to rank it.
True. Like, if importance, okay, we get the Return of the King, and we get Sauron's defeat.
Mm-hmm.
We get just the end of everything, which is sad, and I don't like it.
I know it's
But
amazing.
but yeah, I mean it's either Fellowship or this, and I feel like with Aragorn becoming king and Sauron's demise, yes, this would
And everybody going to the west, and it's just
yes, this would be it.
It's the ribbon on top, you know. It's
yeah,
just it
dude,
wraps everything up and it does it very well. So
phenomenally.
yep. It's like, you know, what's more important, the journey or the destination? That's kind of the discussion here, you know, because it's like Fellowship, it starts off everything and it's like such a good base of where to start in Lord of the Rings, especially when you're talking about the extended cut. And then Return of the King, it's like, but yeah, the ending, it just wraps everything up so great and it gives you, you know, even more lore and like so much stuff that you can still sink your teeth in.
It was so funny because I've seen it so many times, but I can always remember. I always forget how many times you feel like it's wrapping up,
Yep.
and it adds something else to it, which is really nice. But then I watched it the first time. My kids watched the last like hour and a half with me, and they're like, my daughter's like, "Oh, wait, it's not over yet?" I'm like, "No, it's still got like 40 minutes left." And she's like, "That's not the ending?" Because even when you're in the one of the last battles that they have with before the undead guys come, you kind of feel like that's like wrapping up. Like that's gonna be the end battle, and then Frodo and Sam are gonna make it to Mount Doom and drop the ring in, and then they're like, "Oh no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna ride to the Black Gate, and now
Kaylen,
we're gonna draw everybody out." And you're like, "What? For Frodo?" Okay. Dang, man. But no, that's cool.
Yep, it's amazing. Kaylin had the same reaction. She was watching it with me, and they finished that battle, and then we paused because I had to go to the bathroom. We're just like, there's like an hour left still. It's like, yeah, babe, that was the end of the second act of this film.
Yep.
We're starting the third act right now.
It's crazy.
And no, dude, the ending, it's so good, bro. When I watched it as a kid, I just bawled my eyes out, bro. And not because it's particularly sad. It's sad just because it's over.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all these emotions and all these feelings and all these characters. It's done.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's definitely one of those movies where when you get to the end, you're sad that it's there, and you almost want to just pop in the Fellowship again and be like, "No, it's not over.
Yeah.
I want to take this journey
Yeah,
again."
You just
yeah,
watch
you
the
just-
Fellowship and you end it there. You're just like, no, it's never over. The journey is always
exactly. You just don't want it to end with like all your might. And even putting in this movie, like all I was thinking is, this is the last one. Like, damn it, this is the last one. Dang it. And then yeah, man, like there's so few stories where it's like I just feel that emptiness when they're over. And like this is probably the first one for me. And it's just such a special ending. And like just the performance by the actors is just so beautiful, man. It's just such a phenomenal film across the board.
That's actually saying a lot too, because I mean, even with Star Wars, when you get to the end of Star Wars, I don't really feel that way. I feel like it's like, okay, man, like
satisfying
I'm glad
conclusion.
it's wrapped up, and I don't feel that emptiness. But yeah, it's something about how it just hits. It's just like I don't know. It is like
I think go ahead.
no, because I mean I've come across shows like that too.
Yeah, some shows like for me Naruto was like that, where
Yeah.
it's like damn. And it's the same
Like,
thing, you know, it's like the first big show that I was into, and then it ends freaking like 15 years later, and it's like damn, like this is my entire childhood and teenagehood and young adulthood. I don't think a young adult. I think I was still a teenager when it ended.
that's like for X-Men Evolution for me. That gutted me. I'm just like, I gotta watch it again. I just got to.
Yeah. And yeah, I think part of the reason why it hits so hard is because like even though it is a happy ending, there's consequences, man. You know, like Frodo is like all the hobbits, dude. They have that scene when they're back in the shower drinking, and you can tell like they're all broken.
Yeah.
They're not broken to the point that, oh man, they're ruined, but like they're not the same. Merry and
Well,
Pippin aren't those happy fools they were before. Go ahead.
Yeah, and there is, so many elements that it's obvious that Tolkien took inspiration from, him being in a war and the PTSD that him and his the other people that were in that war had and had to deal with, and you can definitely see that there's elements of that in this story. So it's like it's real, it brings a real element to it, because like, how many stories do you know of, like, the journey's over and everyone's like, or and they're like, oh, let's keep going, or whatever. But in this one's like, no, like there were real consequences for their journey and for what they went through. And like you can see that in that scene. They're like, they feel like they don't belong, and it's like, man, even
yeah,
though they are the heroes, they still.
and Hobbiton doesn't even know. It's just like they were like oblivious to everything going on. So I was just like going home, and then you're just sitting there. You know what happened. You know what you did, and then you're just like, the hobbits are still doing the same old thing, just like drinking and carrying on and being merry. And then you're just like,
Yep. And it's
okay,
like exactly how I imagine, soldiers coming back from World War One felt. You know, the horrors that they had to see and endure, and then they get back home and everybody's just acting normally. It's like this is impossible. Yeah, dude, it's such a phenomenal film, and it's in the end, like they choose, instead of ending on with just a plain happy ending, they end on a goodbye.
Mhm.
Which anytime you're saying goodbye to a friend for a last time or for a long time is sad, and it's like even sadder, when it's Gandalf and it's Frodo and it's Bilbo now. Even it's just, man,
it's a
and I
lot.
think I think it's because of that. Like I wonder how many dry eyes were in films in theaters the first time people saw this film. And it's stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, no wonder this won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad enough when you think it's just Bilbo and Gandalf, and then when Frodo decides to go as well, you're just like, oh no, oh no.
But to be fair, that scene, I remember watching it the first time, the second time, maybe even the third time, being like, this is such a cheesy scene, and he like turns around, he's like, and his stupid freaking smile and everything. But then this time, I don't know what it was about this viewing, but this time it's all like, you can tell that at the beginning, like he still has those scars of, carrying it and everything. And then like he has no expression, just like sadness almost, until he walks onto the ship, and then he smiles for the first time. And like, it seems like since the fellowship, which I was like, that never clicked with me before. But this viewing, I was like, oh, okay, I see why they did it the way they did. I'd still feel like it's a little bit like on the nose, but I appreciate it more.
Yeah.
And that is crazy that was the first thing they ended up filming, right?
I don't
Because
recall.
because Ian McKellen was talking about that in an interview, that
I
that for him was his first scene.
I think I read a fact. I didn't put it in here, but I think I read a fact that said that his first scene was his first scene in Fellowship, and the second scene was the last scene in Return of the King,
Okay.
which is weird. But all right.
I don't know. It's probably something to do with set location.
Yeah, it was. Anyways, what's the final call on importance?
Return.
Yeah, it's number one.
Return of the King going number.
And I think, even though
one.
we all love the Fellowship, I think for the vast majority of people, this is their favorite one because
Really?
it's got the biggest battle. It's the conclusion. Um, and yeah, even for me, I remember saying it bounces between this one and the first one. And honestly, dude, it's just like a tie, because it's like, for how good the first one is, dude, it's just flawless ending. Is just, I don't know. It escapes words.
For sure. Yep. Um Magical facts about Eowyn.
Magical facts about Eowyn.
Do a hard left turn from
Yeah,
our
right? Yeah. In the
deep-
books, Eowyn rides into battle with the Rohirrim, taking Merry with her, but without revealing her identity to them or the reader. Instead, she is disguised as a character who calls himself You want to say that for me, Nate?
Let me open it back up. It didn't look that complicated.
Durnhelm, I think, is the way you pronounce that
I don't
name.
even know. Where
Anyways,
are
it's
you?
a fake name. Doesn't matter.
Mom's a fake name.
Dern and only reveals herself in the battle when she takes off her helmet to show the Witch King of Angmar that she is a woman. In the movie, Mary and the audience are always aware that it is Eowyn. The filmmakers made this change because they felt that in a visual medium, it would be difficult to conceal her identity, and because not recognizing her would make Mary look like the stupidest hobbit on earth.
Yeah.
Also, the live-action Rohan army was made up of several hundred New Zealander extras who responded to an open casting call for anybody who could ride a horse. Many of them were women who had to perform as male riders. The only woman, of course, in the actual story was Eowyn.
Which I didn't know, which is cool. So I bet
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
really
that
cool.
hair is practical.
Yep,
It's just
yep,
women with long hair.
Honestly, though, I feel like that would have been a really cool reveal, you know? But also, like, I guess it makes sense.
I mean,
but I'm like, I think how cool that would have been.
I know. It's definitely just, I mean, there's a criticism. Oh, you mean that it's an Eowyn the whole time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, with how much time she spends with Mary, like that would be like, what's up with this dude?
Yeah.
Like they would have basically had to keep Mary separate from her like the entire time.
Yes.
Which I guess would have been fine, but I don't know. Like her scene where she kills the Witch King is just so badass, bro.
What?
It's so awesome. Are you kidding me?
Interesting.
I'm no man, and then she stabs him in the face hole is not awesome to you?
Then it crumples up like a tin can.
Another magical fact for you.
You're insane, bro.
You're insane. Magical fact.
In the books, the prophecy that no man can kill the Witch King was originally done by the elf Glorfindel.
You struggle on like the simplest words, dude.
Sorry.
It's Glorfindel. Who said it right?
Who foretold that not by the hand of man shall he fall.
Yeah.
However,
so a little context on that. Before Sauron came back, so this is after he fell to Isildur, but before he came back in this time.
Okay.
The Witch King like founded his own kingdom, which is Angmar, which Legolas refers to in the final Hobbit movies, like, oh, my mom was killed in Angmar. There's the orcs coming from Angmar. Okay. He's the Witch King of Angmar. He had his own kingdom up in the north, which is also what destroyed the kingdom of men in the north, Arnor, which is where Aragorn is from. The Rangers of the Dunedain are all Rangers from that kingdom that were like, so Hobbiton was created while that kingdom still existed, and they had a deal where it's like, hey, you know, you guys just take care of Hobbiton and take care of that we'll take care of that land, and we'll protect you. Arnor gets destroyed, but the Rangers protect. Arnor gets destroyed, but they still protect Hobbiton because that's their job. It's their duty. The Rangers still do it for hundreds of years. Part of one of the battles that the kingdom of Arnor had against the kingdom of Angmar, which is the Witch King, was Glorfindel was there. And the Witch King was there, and he was like killing everybody. I think he killed the king in that battle. And then Glorfindel shows up. And then like the Witch King just runs away because he knows Glorfindel is just going to wipe the floor with him. So it's one of those things where it's like Glorfindel's a super awesome character. He's also an elf that died, went to the west, and was reincarnated and sent back to the east just so he could help people because he was so bad. He 1v1'd a Balrog like Gandalf did and died as well. Like that's how he died.
Dang.
Yeah, he's super cool, dude. Super cool character, dude.
This is kind of like the lore that I really want from the Rings of Power, and that's why I'm like, I don't know if that show is capable
No,
of doing so much lore and like context.
yeah, all
but I'm
that
like,
stuff happened
that's
before the Rings of Power. I think that's like
oh,
first stage or even maybe before the first stage.
that's what we need. We need a first stage show, bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
because there's
good
there's the
time.
capital, there's the capital of the elves, and then a bad elf.
That can't be possible because Angmar, Ingmar, no, the
No, when he
Arnor.
fights the Balrog. When he
Oh,
fights
okay.
the Balrog.
No, I was talking about Arnor, right? The
Yeah, that could happen
king of
if
Fen.
they decide to keep, because I imagine the Rings of Power is probably going to end when Sauron gets killed.
Yeah,
I imagine, but if they do decide to keep going, like that is basically the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
And if Halbrand ends up being the Witch King, like that's pretty cool because then he becomes the main villain.
Well, actually, I think rewatching this, Albrand is going to be um the Ghost
The
King.
Ghosts of the Men of Dunharrow, I think, is what it's
Yeah,
called.
I think that's who he is.
Yeah, that's another one.
Hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. I personally am more interested in him just being straight evil at the end as opposed to just being lame and not courageous.
Sure.
But I'm fine either way. But yeah, dude, it's great. It's great.
Back to the magical fact. Yes. So the prophecy is, by not of a man shall he fall. However, the fact.
Hold up. I'm sorry. It's just such cool lore. Of such cool lore. I forgot it's even connected more. So when Glorfindel dies, he dies because he's fighting a Balrog because he's protecting, I'm pretty sure, the father of um Erandil, who is Elrond's father,
Yep.
who is the light of Erandil. So it's like he's who is a human that was raised at the capital of the elves, which I think was Linden still at the time. And it's just he's awesome. Glorfindel's dope. I think he might be my favorite elf. I think.
Bold statement.
Bull.
However, the fact that Merry and Eowyn aren't human males is not the reason why they succeed in the books. Merry had received an ancient barrel blade from Tom Bombadil, a character left out of the movie adaptations, an ancient sword specifically designed to be used against the Witch King's dark magic. It is that specific blade that Merry uses to stab the Witch King in the leg, and the book explains that no other blade would have dealt that foe a wound so bitter, cleaving the undead flesh, breaking the spell that knit his unseen sinews to his will.
Sinews.
Mary's attack therefore made the invincible Witch King temporarily vulnerable to Eowyn's attack, which happened to fulfill the symbolic prophecy that he wouldn't be killed by a man. In the film, Merry never received the blade, and he uses a random sword. So in the movie, the prophecy is taken more literally, which I don't like. That's why that whole scene falls so flat for me. Like, no man can kill. I'm not a man. It's like, what? This doesn't make sense with what we've learned about
So
the Nazgul.
the way that I viewed it before I knew the background was that before I knew anything was just that that's just something he says. Like no man can kill me. Like it's not a prophecy, it's none of that. Like it's just something he says because he's just so into
Both.
himself.
Yeah.
And it's not even that he's immortal. Like I also never got the vibes that like he's immortal the way the elves are immortal, where they're never going to die, but you can still kill them. That's the vibe that I got. You know, like they're magical, but they can be killed. And then he says that line, "Don't you know that no man can kill me?" And then it's like, "I am no man," and then she freaking kills him. Which if you view it that way, which is kind of the way the movie portrays it, it's freaking awesome, freaking amazing. If you view it knowing the context, I can see why like it would be cool when when they get all the gifts, maybe give him the barrow blade there. When he's at Rivendell, maybe Elrond gives him the blade instead of Tom Bombadil. Like that would have been cool. Because even in the book, it's like Merry doesn't kill him; he just weakens him, and then like so. I do think that would have been better.
Totally.
But again, like we're just talking like an extra scene,
Yeah.
and it's like you're the only person I have ever heard saying that scene falls flat for you. Like,
See,
every other person I know, including myself, thinks that scene's freaking awesome.
I think it looks good, and they do their best with
Even
it. But like,
narratively.
no, because so the idea that I got from the last time we see somebody actually physically fighting a Witch King, or not a Witch King, a Nazgul, is when Aragorn is fighting the Nazgul, and he
Mhm.
directly like throws a thing of fire into one of them, burns up, it falls down, and it's still fine. So I'm like, okay, no,
Yeah.
they can't die then. They can't die because they're like spirits, you know? It's just
Yeah.
like a nothing in a cloak. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And that's the way I understood it. So then, if that's true, then this makes absolutely no sense. How was he able to stab it?
It's not that it makes
nothing in there.
no sense. One, he clearly does. They can take damage, clearly, even if they don't die. That's why the fire hits him and messes him up. That's why they're afraid of Aragorn. That's why Elrond and Saruman can hold them off. They can take damage.
Oh.
So the stab from Merry is fine. Like, it makes sense that it injures him.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me clarify a little bit more. The way I thought it worked, okay, was the fire, and then the next time that they are even slightly intimidated is with the water. So I thought, okay, it's when you are able to like destroy their shroud, because then there's like spirit has nothing to contain them.
Okay.
So
That's
that's
all
the
in
way
your
I
head,
thought
though.
it worked.
And
I know, but like,
but again,
they do a very poor job of explaining it. If they
do
explained
they?
it like,
Because watching The Hobbit and we see them fight Elrond and Sauron, they have no cloak. It's just spirits fighting them, and they're still slapping them up. So it's like the
but
cloak
they're also
makes no
wizards.
difference. It's no, Elrond's not a wizard. He's an elf,
Yeah, but elves
and he's just
use
fighting him
magic.
with a sword. Not always.
That's the way I perceive
And it's not implied in that scene that he's using magic. And none of the attacks there are implied that they're using magic. He's just using his staff and his sword.
Okay.
So, and then you see the fight with Aragorn. So it is implied. You're right. It's not spelled out, but it is implied that they do take physical damage. I can see why and that does make sense that you do get the vibe that they're immortal. Like, even like they can't die. Because you're right. That guy's set on fire. But then again, I still just get the vibe where it's like, yeah, dude, he just has some black magic, some curse that has no man can kill me. And he probably used that wording specifically, like, I want to be either him or Saruman. Again, this is how I thought of how you could interpret it, where it's like, I want to be invulnerable to the hands of men.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, this is a woman, so even technically the spell or the magic it's a loophole.
Sure. Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna segue that thought into ranking the best villain.
I'm cool with whatever.
So the villain, obviously, in this one has to be the deformed orc, right?
For show. What's that guy's
Harvey
name?
I don't know.
Harvey
I don't-
Weinstein. That is they. Peter Jackson designed this orc after Harvey Weinstein.
Dang.
Wow. Good for Peter Jackson.
What is up with that orc, anyways? He seems like special in some way, but he doesn't seem to be a urukai.
I think he's not an Urukai. I think he's just special because of how evil and smart he is.
Dropped on his head as a child.
It seemed like a weird call for me. I don't know.
He was
Orc
dropped on
like-
his head as a child.
Right?
He was like ran over as a child.
He was set ablaze as a child. I don't know. That orc was just like, who is this guy? Like, have we known him? Like, I don't know. It was
But
weird.
Lord of the Rings has always been like that.
Yeah,
they do it
sure,
in the Fellowship. They do it in this film. They do it in the Hobbit. It's like, here's an orc that matters for some reason.
Yeah, right? Yeah. No, but I think we should go with the Witch King, right? He's the main villain because we haven't ranked him yet. And I think that this is the movie
it's
to
just
do it.
crazy. Like, Sauron is technically the villain, and even in the books, but like, he doesn't do anything. Like, he just like sends forth his minions.
Yep. And that's another
so, yeah.
reason why I'm like, I'm hoping that the Rings of Power really elevates that. That's why I want to be super intimidating, and he does like so much in the Rings of Power, because in the movies it's kind of just like, oh yeah, like that guy, like you should be scared of him, but they never really show why you should be scared of him. You should be scared of the people who follow him, but not him. You know?
I mean, the only things they do is like when people see him through the Palantir and how badly he messes them up just through seeing him through the Palantir. But still, like, that's it, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the Witch King. And does he go over? Who's the current number one? Saruman?
Smaug.
Man.
I could see
His
which
feats are so bad, you know? Like, he is so poor feats.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't do anything.
Yep. And
He
like
breaks
another
Gandalf's staff.
Yeah, how does he do that?
I don't know. He's a witch.
went, eh.
Okay, so he can break Gandalf's staff, but somebody can stab him in the face and he's dead. What?
bro,
The
it's
power
a
levels on this
loophole.
character make no sense.
It's a loophole. One, Tolkien's always been like that. Like,
Yeah.
there is no hard magic system in the Tolkien verse. It is very much like,
Which is a big
what
gripe that I
goes
have
around.
with Lord of the Rings in general. But yeah, you're right.
It's
At least
distracting,
there's
man, 'cause-
consistency, there's no consistency.
yeah. Go ahead.
Before we get off too much off track of what we were talking about before, the baby dropped elf. Not orc. Sorry, the baby dropped orc, not elf.
Uh-huh.
His name is Gothmog.
Yes. right.
Gothmog.
It's a good name.
So yeah, just
And he was ran over as a baby. Yes.
Yes.
reindeer by a reindeer.
Oh, it was that elf that
It was Rudolph.
Yes.
It was Thranduil's reindeer.
Thranduil.
That thing dies though. That reindeer gets killed, doesn't it?
He's a really old orc, dude.
Hey, dude, I think we established that orcs might be immortal. I think we established that at some
Maybe.
point.
Yeah. Okay, so
Also, such a cool little Easter egg. So there's that whole scene where, hold up, let me see. I just don't want to forget it.
We ain't never gonna finish.
Speaking of orcs, you know, in the Rings of Power, the orcs call whatever his face Adar all the time, which is father.
Raja.
and they say it in this. I realized that.
Yeah. Did you see that when Arwen is talking to Elrond?
Yep.
Like she turns to him and says Adar, and it's like, oh my god, it is the same word. It's all connected.
You said it. You said the word. She said the
it.
word. Whatever.
She said the word Adar.
Or is the villain Shelob? Magical fact.
Magical fact about Shelob.
Or is the villain Smeagol?
Yeah.
Because he has some feats.
Right.
He there's some murder. He commits some
yeah,
murder.
Some fingers were bitten.
Yeah. Anyways, Shelob. Sir Peter Jackson is arachnophobic and based the Shelob design on the types of spiders he feared the most. And for the scene when Frodo gets pierced by Shelob, Elijah Wood had 2 Alka-Seltzers hidden under his tongue, which he chewed up to create the white foam.
Very
he
convincing.
then, leaked out of the corners of his mouth. Which
Very gross.
very nice.
We should keep that trick in mind if we ever have a poisoning.
Heck yeah. And lastly, when Frodo is stabbed by Shelob's stinger, Elijah Wood was actually stabbed with a prop one. In the extended edition DVD commentary, he and Sean Austin comment that it was
Aston.
And Austin again.
Comment
Aston.
comment that it was not only very painful, but had actually done damage to the point that Wood had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days.
What?
Yep.
That's really dumb.
Yeah.
You don't even see the contact.
Right?
I think it's, me and my wife were talking at the time of the Fellowship. Which actor had the most name recognition?
One of the wizards, I'd say, or maybe
I don't
maybe
know,
it was
man.
Elrond as well. He was in the Matrix.
Yeah, he's got the Matrix.
Probably.
So Hugo Weaving, but the other one I think is Sam, because he's got Goonies and he's got Rudy, which both came out
I
before
always
this.
forget he's in Goonies. What's Rudy?
And in Rudy,
God,
it's
never
a sports
forget
movie.
Oh.
Yeah, where he's the main character, Rudy.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's
He
probably
was in Toy Soldiers too.
Sean
just a-
Astin.
Yeah, just a random 80s movie.
He was in Toy Soldiers.
It's not the same Toy Soldiers.
Oh, which one? What the heck?
I think we had this
the one with
discussion
Kirsten
before.
Dunst. I'm thinking of the one with Kirsten Dunst
No, where
and the
where
One Tree Hill kid.
No.
Okay.
Or is it the Mouth of Sauron? Is he the villain?
No, he
that
had
guy's great,
so
though.
little time.
But
Freaking
design though,
amazing
he's
mouth
up for
control.
design. Like heck yeah.
I know, dude. He's not gonna win because I won't accept it. But I mean, he maybe deserves it, but I won't accept it.
Accept it. We'll see about that, Nate. Okay. So we are going with the Witch King, correct? Okay. Does he go
Yeah, but
above Smog?
he can't go over Smog.
I don't think so.
He just
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
have
think
enough
so.
feats, bro. Like he didn't murder enough people.
Like when it comes to like down to his power, I feel like he would be like,
Oh yeah,
up
he'd be a good
yeah,
fight with Smog. I
but
don't know if he'd win. I don't know if he'd win, but he'd do some damage with his little
yeah,
fell
I
beast.
say Smog #1 still.
Mhm.
Like he only kills like Theoden, which is like
Sorta.
it's a good feat, but it's like that's it. Like Smaug like burns a freaking dwarven castle mountain and a village and a kingdom,
Yep. Yep.
and he
I
dies in almost as honestly best days. Dude, Witch King might win best death.
maybe. Okay,
Him
so
or
but he
Smeagol.
definitely goes above Saruman, right?
Here's the thing. Again, he still has the same feats issue, but he looks and is so much more imposing and threatening than Saruman.
Yep. Just the fact that
I'm
he made Gandalf's spear just like boop, or staff, sorry, staff
It's
just
like,
like gone. Boop. I was like,
Yeah.
dang, you really got the nose, bros.
Yeah. But he's got like no feats, bro.
Yeah.
That's
What
why
do
he
you think,
rides
Eric?
around on the Fell Beast.
The
'Cause he-
Felbeast has the feats.
Because he
He's got no
fails.
feet.
Because he fails.
He got nubs.
I wish they would have. I mean, I guess I don't know. I wish they would have given him a little bit more armor. Like the helmet's super cool, but
I agree.
He- Gloves.
Yeah, but they
oh
had
yeah,
that
he
before
does have the
too.
gauntlets. Yeah.
You don't want to go overboard though.
Why?
You should,
He's,
yeah.
he's the
totally
main
go
villain.
overboard. Yeah.
I think it's just the right
They
amount.
went overboard with Thranduil. Might as well go freaking overboard with this guy.
How dare you? How dare you take it
Hey, at least
back?
this guy's crown was made out of metal.
How dare you?
Okay, so the Witch King is going number 2 on the villain list. Okay.
If you guys are okay with it,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm okay.
Because he has no feats, man. But he's 1 feet. But I'm not gonna fight you on it. It's fine.
Hopping around with 1 feet.
Ah.
1 feet, bro.
Yep.
1.
Yep.
Oh, before we get, did anybody notice Peter Jackson?
I did not.
Of course, man.
I kept an eye
Wynnston.
out. Dude, I've missed
He's
him in
one of
all
the-
3 movies.
He's one of the Corsairs of Umbar.
He was one of the pirates.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know, but he's not gonna just like. Yes, he was one of the Corsairs, the first mate on the ship of Galahadrin, and
was he the first mate or was he the captain?
2 hours and 62 seconds in the movie is when he came in.
His name was Tooth Fondler the Fat.
Fondler.
There's here I'll get into it, Eric. If you could line me up with a magical fact.
Lining you up with a magical fact.
If I can find it.
Story of my
Did
life.
you delete it, Winston? Oh, here it is. In Gandalf and Pippin's first scene with Denethor in the throne room of Minas Tirith, the steward of Gondor confronts Gandalf about his schemes to remove Denethor from power and replace him with Aragorn. It is not revealed how exactly he learns of Aragorn's existence in the movie, but in both the animated version of the movie and the original novel, it is revealed that Denethor also has one of the lost Palantir.
Oh!
And through it, he discovers not only Aragorn's existence, but also the threat of the Corsairs of Umbar. I think it's funny that Umbar and Umbara in Star Wars are like almost the same, implying that Sauron would be triumphant in his siege and destruction of Gondor. More than likely, this subplot from the books was taken out or rewritten in the movies in order to reduce the already lengthy runtime, and much like several other plots.
But that
Which
could have
I
just
think
been
is-
a line, bro.
Nah, it's pointless. What's the point of Denethor having a Palantir? It only cheapens the other one.
It
It's
shows
like, oh, well,
that
it's like
shows that instead of-
Saruman has one, and then B-boy freaking Denethor has one. Like
Sure.
it just weakens it.
It kind of makes a little bit. I think they should have
No,
maybe.
it
kept
does
that in
make
because
sense. It
he's
does
so
make
cra-
sense.
He's so crazy, and you're
Mhm.
like, why is he like ready to burn himself with his son? And if you find out that he has one of the Palantirs, he's seen what's going to happen, so he's like lost all hope. So it makes more sense to like his
You know
character.
what? I think you might be right.
Yeah, Because you're like, why is he ready to burn himself? Why does he think that his son is dead?
Another
They do a good job
magical
in the
fact.
two towers, like laying the groundwork that this guy's a freaking prick.
Oh, yeah,
because
for
he's mean
sure.
to Faramir then. So I was like, of course he'd be a psychopath.
In the scene, in the scene when Denethor attempts to burn Faramir on the pyre could not be on fire because Gandalf's horse would not go near it. To solve this, the crew reflected a real fire onto a pane of glass in front of the camera so that it looks as though the pyre is burning. It's like really cool effect.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, right.
Which also, did you guys see how far they had to walk to get to like the tomb where they were gonna burn? How did he get from there all the way to the end of the largest diving board in Middle Earth?
Right?
That's like a mile away, bro.
Yep. Yeah, and also, yeah.
My kids laughed.
It's great.
You know,
Like,
right. We have to talk about it now. He is the most annoying character in this
movie. Oh yeah.
Like,
is he?
Like, honestly, I
Man,
thought
you guys
before,
just
I was like,
love Gollum. You just love him. I'm gonna get you waifu pillows of Gollum. Gollum is the worst, guys.
No,
Gollum is the worst.
no.
Not worse than the Steward of Gondor.
So at first, I was like, in hindsight, I was like, Frodo. Frodo's the most annoying in this movie, and he's not. He has his moments.
He has his moments, yeah.
But it's like, okay, I guess
like when he doesn't trust Sam.
Yeah,
like a
dude,
psychopath.
See,
like,
and that's why the thing
please.
is. So it's not that Gollum is annoying. It's that Frodo is annoying. Because how you serious? You serious that this stupid Gollum creature could fool you? Come on, dude.
The worst, bro.
Think about it. Come on.
Gollum's the worst. He's unpleasant to look at.
Sure.
He's the worst. I hate Gollum. I used to be so afraid to even look on him. We'd watch the movies and be like, oh, Gollum scene's coming. I don't even want to watch just because he's so unpleasant to look at.
Man, dude, he really affects you.
Ugh.
What about that murder scene then?
I know, right?
Right? Yeah. Which, by the way, like, I guess they could do it. That he could be a
Harfoot. I don't think he's a straight up Harfoot. I mean, they might do it. But like, it's not going to be the wildest thing ever where it's like, oh, here's the Harfoots. And then there's a different clan that are more like river based. And they're called the Riverfoots.
Yes, that's what I would say.
The Wetfoots.
The wet.
The Whitefoots.
The Swampfoots. Just in case you guys didn't know, now we're on air.
Now we're on.
Before we
weren't. You can't even
see
it, dude. You can't even see it with the.
Now we're on air. What are you doing? I'm looking at it right
yes,
now.
I
what
know,
do you mean
but the
you
way
can't see
I have
it?
cut the things, in the podcast can't see it.
Oh, what's the background? What's the background? Because there's only one right answer. What is it, Wynnston?
What's the right answer?
What is it,
Say
Wynnston?
yes.
What is it, Wynnston?
It's Minas Morgul.
That's wrong.
No, sorry.
It's the Grey Havens. That is the only right answer.
You should have told me that before the podcast.
Oh, you jerk.
You're
really going to end it with freaking creepy Minas Morgul?
This is the creepiest of the movies, bro.
I know, but it's also the end with the sadness with the Grey Havens.
I like Minas Morgul. Looks cool.
I mean, it looks great. Also, Minas Morgul used to be like an outpost of Gondor.
I presume so. It looks like it.
Yeah, and they really eviled it up. So is Cirith Ungol, which is the tower that they take Frodo, the orcs take him.
Anyways,
dude, Shelob stabs him.
Smeagol already kind of seems messed up before he grabs the ring.
I mean,
he's already saying, like,
he literally murdered a dude over a ring.
Well, I know, but then you could be like, oh, the ring corrupted him, which is like, one, how did he corrupt him so fast when the hobbits are like resistant?
Thank you.
All right, guys. I mean,
no, he's right, and I already brought this up. If they're even slightly like hobbits, they seem to have. They've already brought it up that they're somewhat immune to it for longer periods of time.
Yep.
Like, it's not hobbits in general, dude. It's just you have to be humble and not like insanely ambitious, selfish person. And it's like, yes, Smeagol is humble, but he's definitely selfish. Definitely selfish. And also, like, I mean, you get the vibe. He freaking murders this dude over a freaking ring. Like, this is a messed up
He's
guy.
also
like,
he says us.
Yeah.
He says us when he's talking to.
Well, that's another thing.
It's like, what the heck?
Gollum and Smeagol talk to each other, like clear DID. I bet he had DID even before. You know what I mean? Like, this is probably like somebody who has some kind of mental disorder.
Could be. And I kind of found that interesting, though, that they did decide to do that before. So it's like, yeah.
And I already
don't know what
explained
that
to you,
says about it, but
how in the books, Isildur is like actually like a good guy, and like really resists the ring, and technically is never even corrupted by the ring.
Yep.
He's never even corrupted by the ring for years and years. Whereas Boromir and Denethor are like, I need that ring. That ring is the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people, and these are men. You know, these are humans. So like it's not like, oh, men instantly corrupted, freaking hobbits all across the board, 100% of them, they'll be fine. Also, there's also a cool, awesome scene in the book where when Sam has the ring and he's like handing it off to Frodo again, and then he has that like, why would I give it to you? He's daydreaming about what he would do with the ring, and this is what he daydreams like: I'd take over the earth, and I'd make a pretty garden, and I'd make sure nobody would mess up my garden. And then he's like, nah, that seems like a lot of work, basically. And then he gives it to him. That's like almost verbatim how his mindset goes when he has the ring.
While we're talking about most annoying characters, though, Pippin, still really stupid. Like,
yeah,
Pippin is.
But again, like, at least he's not bad, you know? Like, he's never doing anything bad. You know, he's just dumb.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely the most annoying has to be Steward of Gondor. So where is he going? Is he going above Unibrow or under Unibrow Boy?
I respect him more than Unibrow Boy.
What? I literally can't eat cherry tomatoes after that. Like, I hate cherry tomatoes.
It's impressive, bro. It's impressive. Dude, it's just, here's the thing. Unibrow Man is such a cartoon character, bro. It is like, I cannot even pretend to take you seriously. Like, you are such a joke of a character.
Sure.
Like, you literally exist for me to be pissed at you, but you're trying so hard that I just feel bad for you. Like, I'm not even pissed at you. I just pity you. Denethor and Gollum, really, but also Denethor, it's like, now this guy's just a psychopath. Like, he's just a crazy person. You know, he freaking hates his son for whatever reason. He's gonna burn himself like a heathen. His words.
But dude, like, also like
he eats like legitimately a pig, bro. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, Jesus Christ, shut your mouth, bro.
Sing me a song, little hobbit.
Get a napkin. Somebody get this man a napkin.
I can't eat a napkin.
Also, dude, like, it felt very personal to me. All right, I with just like when I watched the extended cut, they do such a better job with Faramir, and I'm just like with the real, like, the normal theatrical cuts, like, Faramir is kind of more of like a throwaway character, but in this one's like, no, he actually tries to please his father, you know, and he feels like nothing he does is good enough, and I'm just like, man, I can relate. That feels like a personal attack, but I can relate to that. Jesus. And it's like, it's, you know, hit me right in the heartstrings. So it's like, I like Faramir more than Boromir because of it.
Yeah, dude. I think again, I think most people do. I definitely did when I was younger. I still like Boromir better, but I definitely like Faramir a lot. And no, I mean, he's an excellent character. Although I think it is super convenient. Like, hey, here's our single male guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then we have a single female.
Yeah, right.
Like, why don't we just make that happen?
Pretty attractive.
Like, hey, you're looking for somebody, right? I'll just be nice to you.
Also on that, there's this scene where Aragorn is like carrying over her for a second. There is a prophecy in the books where it's like the hands of the king will be the hands of a healer. And then, obviously he does that and then she wakes up. And I think, again, they're just alluding to that line. That's such a nice little touch that.
That's also part of the extended cut, by the way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that obviously makes sense because that's completely pointless.
Yeah. Okay. Above or below Unibrow, are we putting the Steward of Gondor?
I think Gollum should be number 1. You guys are crazy. Gollum's the worst. Man, you guys have such a tolerance for Gollum.
Dude,
this dude is the worst.
Andy Serkis. He does.
Why does he not bother you? No, I love Andy Serkis. He does a great job.
But
this character doesn't bother you?
Not that much, because it's all like, this is somebody who's demented. Straight up demented from the ring. So I view it like somebody who has a handicap.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah. So I'm like, is he annoying? Yeah, but like, it makes sense why he's that way. And everything he does is like, makes sense why that character would do that. So it's not annoying to me.
And like, it even like,
he's just evil. He's not annoying.
I feel like Bilbo and Gandalf feel like at first, like Bilbo was going to kill him. And then I had that conversation with Gandalf about pitying him. And then like that, like after you see like the torment and the things he's been through, that's kind of where I'm at. And like, especially when he tells Gollum to go away and he wants to like try like a fresh start, just being Smeagol and being a good person. Like,
which lasts for like a week.
I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's like a character defining like bit. Yeah, it doesn't last long. You're right, but it's like the same with an addict. It's straight up an addiction for him. And I'm like, I've seen that firsthand, dude. Like, no, I'm gonna change. And they believe it 100%, and then they don't, and they fall right back into the same thing, maybe even worse, because they feel like they need it so much. It's like, maybe it's just because I understand that character that it just doesn't bother me.
Well said. They allude to Gandalf being able to like vaguely tell the future. And like that's 100% why he's like, don't kill that guy. Don't kill that guy.
Yes.
Because if Gollum isn't there, the ring isn't destroyed.
True.
Anyway, yeah, you guys can put Lord D at the top. I'm okay with that.
The big D.
Do you think he goes above Unibrow?
Yeah, dude, because Unibrow's so weak, bro. It's like you're trying too hard, man. Yeah. Get a life, man.
Yeah. And
like go ahead.
But since we're talking about that, we have to talk about most satisfying deaths, because
it's gotta be his, right? I mean, Gollum's death is pretty great too.
Sure, yeah, that is. It is a pretty satisfying death, and also it looks really good.
Yeah. Who else dies? Witch King. Oof, that's another great death.
Yeah, it looks great too. But it's just that thing with me. It's like little itch I can't.
And then
scratch.
Sauron, man, freaking Sauron collapsing.
It's fine. It's fine.
Such a great moment. Just the eyeball. So much emote in the eyeball. Exactly. How do you get your pupils so big, bro?
And then it goes like big and then so small and big.
I know, it's great.
It's like
insane pupil control.
He had pretty much just as much as motion as Smaug did, except it's one pupil.
I know, right? It's like, how can I show that I'm being extra with one pupil?
Right. So what do you guys want to do for best death?
I mean, Denethor's death is iconic. Mm-hmm. But Gollum's kind of is as well. Like, I've seen memes where it's Gollum holding insert meme here, and then he's melting.
Yep.
Where are you guys leaning?
I lean a little bit more towards the Steward of Gondor, but I could totally see it going towards Smeagol as well.
I think it's because
the D Lord.
There's just
that's great.
It's, I hate to say it, but it's comedic.
Okay.
Like, in a way, because even myself, I was like, here it comes. Like, I couldn't wait to see him throw him off.
Man, so great.
Good riddance.
So great.
Yeah.
I could just see me and my kids with popcorn, just waiting for that part. Like, here it comes,
satisfying. Kid. So satisfying. Okay, so 2 votes for him. So he's going, but are we putting him above or below Boromir? Boromir's number 1.
Ooh, no, Boromir's number 1.
Boromir's
are we putting him above or below Haldir?
It can be above Haldir.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. So he is going number 2, the D Lord.
Theoden has a good death too.
Yeah.
It's very subtle, but like his whole thing was like, I'm a failure as a king. Like I'm such a failure as a king and leader.
Yep.
And then his final lines, like, and I can finally go to the halls of my forebears and not be ashamed.
Yeah.
Like
Ashamed
yes,
of my father's presence or something like that.
Because you're like, a freaking legend, dude. Yeah.
And like,
dude,
I love that scene where he's like, where was Gondor? Where, why would we call for aid? And then right when everyone comes in, like, they're calling for aid, he's just like, prepare for battle. It's like, oh, heck yeah.
It's great.
Good choice.
And then also just his speech as well at the end, freaking God, this film has the best speeches, like period.
Really? Yeah.
Like his speech and freaking Aragorn's speech are just like, dude, I would die for you, man. I would die for you right now.
I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And if they can make me feel like, let's do this, bro. And dude, it's so freaking dope because they charge the freaking orcs, and it's like they don't even pretend to slow down, man. Like nobody, not even a hint of fear. It's like, no, bro, today is a red day. And then even the final chant, death.
Oh God,
death.
So good. And then
death. It's so great, bro.
Great, man. Holy crap.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Like this is why this gets the Oscar. Because it's like how it makes you feel, man. It makes you feel left and right. This podcast is brought to you by Starbucks.
Starbucks.
It's a star in a box.
All right. Let's get these lists going. CGI, where are we ranking it? Can I take the floor for a second?
Go ahead.
Okay. Honestly, this movie does a lot of practical and it looks great. But I feel like they still had just as much CGI as the Two Towers did. Yet I think that most of the time it looks far better than the Two Towers. There was only like 2 or 3 scenes that really took me out of it. One of them, unfortunately, was a very critical scene with the eye, right when Sauron dies and there's all the orcs running and the earth is collapsing. Those orcs did not look very good. Even though they were very far away, didn't look very good. But other than that, like honestly, a lot of the other CGI,
the Ghost Army, bro.
The Ghost Army, yeah. But honestly,
aged, man.
Because of the effect that they put on it, it didn't bother me as much because they weren't trying to go photorealistic, So it had a lot of leeway in my mind.
Well, up close, it's not bad.
Yep.
But then once it's like, we're gonna
just go.
Yes, like it just looks terrible.
But like, I'm surprised the Oliphants looked great.
Yeah, dude, they do look. You can. It's not quite. Dude, here's the thing. It's not quite like Dune levels. No, it's immaculate.
No,
but it's definitely MCU levels.
This old of a movie, like they really.
Like, dude, I can absolutely see those in like an MCU film. It's like, yep, that's about right.
Yep.
The only thing they're lacking is just a little bit more detail on the textures. That is literally the only thing they're acting. The animation's on point. The overall design is on point, and they're great.
Yeah. So, like, personally, I would put this right under the Fellowship because, I think it's better than Smaug because of the age and because of like the way that they handle it. Because there's the only thing
Spider, bro,
dude. Shelob looks amazing.
What bothers me the most is that like her mouth is like fleshy, Spiders are not fleshy.
Sure.
They're like it's a good bother.
Oh, okay.
It's a good bother. Like it's so disgusting and gross. It's like, why is this spider fleshy, dude? Yeah. Like stop.
Yep.
You think it goes over Smaug, dude?
Over Smaug.
Do you not remember how perfect Smaug looks, dude?
Sure, but do you not remember how bad some of the other things looked, bro?
Yeah, like the gold.
The gold, dude, some of the fight scenes in there still looked really bad.
Like the golden dwarf looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, and dude, like remember the fight scene, the river fight scene? There was some CGI in there that looked really bad. Some of the orcs running down the river looked horrendous, dude.
Running. We're running
Yeah,
down.
I'm fine. I'm fine putting it 2.
Okay.
That Balrog, bro. That Balrog is freaking
Dude,
keeping it
legendary.
real.
Yeah. Yep.
Shout out to the Rings of Power. We got to see our old friend again.
Boom, dude. Oh, so satisfying. I wonder where they're gonna
Angry
take
Joe
it. I wonder where they're gonna take it
freaking
from here, but
hates that show, dude.
Who
I
does?
don't get it. Angry Joe. I
Oh,
don't understand. Like every episode, he just hates it more and more. It's like, bro,
everybody hates that
relax.
show that I don't know. My nephew's the same way. I was just like, we were playing Fortnite the other night, me and him and his girl, and they're like, they said something about the Ring of Power, like derogatory, and I'm just like, I actually like that show, and they're like,
dude,
That's the thing.
Don't
They're
yick your other people's yum, dude. Why are you yicking that
don't,
yum?
don't yick my young.
Dude, yeah. Don't yick my yum, man. Like, all right, I get it. If you don't like it, that's fine.
It's not
but like,
perfect. Like there are
no.
criticisms,
Sure.
but it's like, man, it's just a joy to watch,
I
dude.
love
It
it,
looks
dude.
great.
It is.
The world is awesome.
I'm calling it. It's my show of the year, man. It's my
I don't
show
know
of the
about
year.
that. What else came out? I mean, Andor has.
We got
Andor
Tales
has
of the
potential.
Jedi. That might come close. Might come close.
Andor has potential. What
Oh
is coming
yeah,
out
sure.
this
Andor
year?
is amazing, but it's not. I don't think it's beat. Because dude, Rings of Power has given me. I'm very glad that we're watching this in tandem with Rings of Power.
Great.
It's giving me so much more respect for Lord of the Rings and the world. It's so good, dude. There's so much flesh to
great.
absorb. All right, gentlemen. Love that shot. That's shot.
Have you been keeping up with House of D?
No.
Oh, bro, you know what's freaking the best show of 2022? Halo.
You don't even believe that.
No,
Eric,
joking.
magical fact.
Kenobi.
Magical fact.
The Oscar-winning end title song "Into the West," while being directly about Frodo's departure, was inspired by Cameron Duncan's struggle with cancer.
What
The first
how
song-
did you say?
The first time the
How
song
did
was
you say
ever
his
played
last name?
publicly was at his
How did
funeral.
you say his last name, Winston?
I said Duncan. I
No,
said
you didn't.
Cameron Duncan. That's exactly what I said. All right.
Oh, that's what you're saying now, and that is correct.
I
I'll
thought
give
it
it
was
to you.
Duncan.
Yeah,
No, I said Duncan, dude. I
you said Dukin.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Cameron Dukin.
Hadouken.
He's freaking. Go ahead. Hadouken?
Also, like Billy
Boyd.
Boyd earlier in this movie, Viggo Mortensen compared the tune and composed. I'm falling apart. Composed the tune and sung the part to the song Aragorn sings at his coronation. The translation of the Elvish words runs, "Out of the great sea to Middle Earth I come. I am come," which doesn't make any sense. I come. "In this place I will abide, and my heirs unto the end of the world." This is, according to the book, the same verse Elendil sang when he first arrived in Middle Earth from Numenor, which is
Did
like
he sing in the show? Dude, I'm gonna have to check that.
Elendil.
I don't think so.
I hope he does. That'd be such a cool
That
little.
would be really cool. I don't think he does. But the reason why I bring these facts up is because it is time to rank the songs. There are two wonderful songs in this.
Into the West, #1, hands down. Game over.
The one that Pippin sings?
Are we doing
we're doing-
in narrative songs?
In narrative songs first, and then we'll do and songs.
All right, go ahead.
What's the list?
Right now we have Misty Mountains,
Oof.
Dwarfs Cleaning, and
it's-
Mary Pippin Drinking Song.
It's number 2.
Number 2.
Pippin's song
Yeah.
Okay.
with slobbering Denethor.
Honestly, for me,
I mean, it is a good song.
yeah.
I don't know if it's number 2, but it is a good song.
Oh
What?
man,
No,
the
man, I'm
dwarf-
tempted to put it number 1.
Dude, for me, it's number 4. Mary and Pippin singing on top of a freaking table is like
Lame, dude.
iconic.
Why do we have you here? Why?
No, you guys put it 2. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm just telling you how I feel.
What about Aragorn's song?
I like
I don't know.
that
It's so forgettable.
It is a little short.
It
though.
is.
It's great too. It's very fitting and it's awesome. It's beautiful. by it's like it's so short and
I can go number 3 for that one.
So
I
just
don't like-
under Pippin's song, above Dwarves Cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. Now let's get into End song.
Into the West, number 1. No argument.
Wait, this is supposed to be all mine. So
I've come to bargain.
okay. You
You wouldn't put it number 1, dude. This song playing when the actual movie ends is just like
there's something about
it's amazing.
Enya that just is like,
Let me pull this up.
May It Be is like so beautiful, man.
I know, but just Into the
Like, when I
West is
hear
just
that song, I think of Lord of the Rings. Are you listening
so
to Enya?
good, dude.
Are you listening to Enya still?
I listened to the Enya one, bro, and I still think this one's better.
All right.
The
I'll
Enya
give it
one
to you.
is deluxe, dude, but this one it's like
Super deluxe.
it's perfect, dude. It's perfect.
I'll give it to you. Is Enya 2 then?
That will push Enya down to number 2, making
And-
Into
and
the
then-
West a number
Yeah.
1 End song. In
This
Lord of the
this is a
Rings.
perfect list in my opinion.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Good
Thank
job,
you
Eric.
so much.
Good job, Eric. You almost effed it up at the end. I'm glad I could help you.
Almost, but
It is time to guess the Rotten Tomato score.
It's the prices. I mean, the Rotten Tomato score is right.
Freaking 97.
Yeah, 93.
My
93.
highest guess of all time.
I'll straight up say 96.
Oh, man, Price is Right rolls, huh?
Hope Eric's right.
It is. Give me a second. 93. I nailed it.
Oh, good job, Wynnston. Good job. It's definitely a 97. That's messed up.
Congratulations.
This is above. This is 9.5, like 9.5 and up. Like, period. This movie is like.
What was Fellowship again?
It was like 91.
Oh,
No, it was still in the 90s.
I thought it was.
No, it wasn't 89. It was still in the, all these films were in the 90s, dude.
It was 91.
And then what? 95 or something for?
No, I think it was also
two times.
93 or 92.
Hmm.
Anyways, a magical fact for you.
Magical. I'm sorry. Magical fact.
Magical fact. Wah!
Like, are we doing Disturbed now?
Yeah. Horses owned by the production company were placed up for auction to the cast and crew after this movie was shot. Viggo Mortensen purchased 2 horses, the one he rode for most of the movie, and one for Liv Tyler's riding double, Janet Abbott.
You did that on
Jane
purpose,
Abbott.
right?
What are you talking about?
Because you're still messing it up. It's
Whatever.
Jane Abbott.
Whatever.
All right, hold up. It reads Jane Abbott, and
Janet
Wynnston
Abbott.
said
Janet
Janet Abbott.
Yep. I see a
I
name and
don't
I'm just
even-
like, nah, that's not it.
I'm
That's
just
not
saying-
it.
I'm just saying stuff. I'm gonna add letters. I know it says Jade, but there's a T there. It's just invisible.
What was that horse's name, Nate?
Brago.
Brago?
What's the in the universe? It's called
Yes, I know.
Brago. I don't know what it's
Brago's
called.
Prego.
Brago is a brogo.
And another one going at you. The Grey
It's not
Haven
that
scene
funny.
had to be shot 3 times, much to the dismay of the actors who had to be crying for
Dude.
most of the scene.
It
Oh,
is such a mistake that they didn't shoot that scene last. They
Yeah.
should have shot that.
Yeah.
Everybody would have
Yeah.
been hysterical.
Mhm.
Everyone.
Yep.
Gandalf, it just free flowing, bro. They that's a missed opportunity.
On the first try, it was discovered in viewing the
The dailies,
dailies.
which is the film you watch at the end of the day
oh, okay, all right. So,
for the day
that,
shooting.
that Cian Aston was wearing the wrong shirt under his cloak. After shooting the scene a second time, the negatives were inadvertently exposed to light during processing, causing
No longer an issue due to digital cameras.
causing a white haze over the entire day's footage. It was finally captured successfully on the third try.
They still nailed it. Like, it's still a perfect performance.
But imagine
it
how
would
good
have
that
been
first
better.
one would have been, you know?
Man, the tears are
like-
still flowing.
like,
It
dude,
looks natural to me.
Still, you bow to no one. Oh my
Wow.
god.
That's not the scene.
Freaking creepy.
Is that the scene they're talking about?
Are they not?
I thought they're talking. No, the Grey Havens, dude.
Oh, okay.
Freaking making stuff
Yeah,
up.
I know.
God damn it.
But dude, that shot is good. Okay, all right.
No,
I like that
is
shot.
deluxe as well. No, it's great.
And
Also, kind of weird CG there as well. A little bit.
a little bit. Yeah. Yep. Rolling
Yep.
into best performance.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dude,
dun.
I don't know, man. I feel like Aragorn might be better in this film.
Nope.
All right.
I say Sean Astin.
Oh, dude.
CNS
He is-
tone.
He is baller in this one.
He is.
He should. Yeah,
I think he does a very good job.
I think Sam takes it in this one.
I cannot put up an argument for
Shelob was pretty convincing.
that. She lobbed.
Man, the acting on Shelob.
That one orc.
I believe it was Andy
kinda
Serkis with 8 different arms.
No, they just added pool noodles to his torso.
Okay, so if we're putting Samwise Gamgee on here, where is he going? Is he going above or below Gollum?
He's gonna go below, I still think.
Agreed.
I'm so sad to say, but yeah,
Ian McKellen's Gandalf, above or below?
he's above Gandalf, right?
Who? Andy Serkis?
No, Sam. Is Sam above or below Gandalf in performance?
You know
Here's
what?
the thing: Sam has been killing it this entire time.
Yeah.
He really has been. Very similar to Gandalf. Gandalf has also been killing it this entire time. But
I'm not
Sam,
saying-
knocks
I
it out of
don't-
the park with this one.
The thing that I feel like gives it to Sam over Ian, I mean, Sam over Gandalf, is Sam has some really intense scenes where like he's really emotional, and most of the time Gandalf is just Gandalf, like,
Masterfully subtle.
yeah, just kind of like I'm cool. I'm
sorry
cool.
your son died.
Yeah, he's going to those
way-
balls. So they got smoothies there. Rohirrim smoothies. Mm.
Okay, so do you concur that he goes above Gandalf?
Always concur.
Yes.
I
Okay. I disagree. To be clear, I disagree. I think he would go
Below Aragorn.
below Aragorn, just above Elijah Wood as Frodo. That's where I would put him. But all right, I'm
He's
outvoted.
so great
I'm
in this
outvoted.
film, though.
Making him number 2 on the performance list.
His rightful place.
Um,
Samwise is the definition of like always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
He's the only Hobbit that we know gets married.
Pippin and Merry get married to each other. I'm joking.
I was like, what?
by the way,
Pippin
since
and
we're
Merry.
talking about that,
Hold up. Pippin and Merry become like the sheriff and the mayor of Hobbiton. I'm not, no joke. Or
Really?
like the sheriff and
That's-
like the general of the Hobbiton like reserve army.
Weird.
I'm not even joking.
strange.
It makes perfect sense. They come from like Hobbiton, Hobbit aristocracy, so it kind of makes sense. Like I think one of their dads was a sheriff or a mayor or something. No. Sam becomes the mayor,
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
and then the other two become like the sheriff and then like the general of the reserve army, which kind of makes sense because they're the only ones that have actually seen battle, like literally seen and partaken in battle.
They're the only ones in the army.
right. Okay, kind of doing a little left turn, but what do you want to do with
Left
character
turns.
design?
Dude, I don't know, dude. There's so many.
I think the mouth of Sauron, or whatever you guys called him.
Aragorn, bro.
Aragorn looks really
Aragorn.
dope.
It's perfect. It's the
Really?
Theoden
it's,
was good too.
who?
Theoden.
He's
Aragorn
pretty good,
looks
but
okay. Yeah, he doesn't look
but,
bad.
but
But
Aragorn's
also,
still better.
there's Shelob.
Nah.
I mean,
Aragorn
It's just a spider.
with flesh. It's gross.
It's a flesh spider, Mr. Frodo.
Aragorn is just like the perfect mix of like that armor, but also like just royalty and also just like seasoned ranger. It's just like, man, dude, if I was a soldier in the Middle East, I don't know, in the medieval times,
In the Middle East,
Yes.
evil time.
I would want to look like that. He's
Oh,
like the
dude.
quintessential paladin.
The mouth
Finally-
of Sauron is like perfect in just like it is so intimidating, so disgusting, so like vile. It's just like, gosh, it's chef's kiss evil. Like beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Let's not talk about anything Kiss when we talk about the mouth of Sauron.
Oh my god, that guy is a Numenorian, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the French kiss of Sauron.
I'm voting for Aragorn. I'm not. I mean, that's my vote. So
You guys don't love the evil enough. It's so good, man. We got Smog. Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
the
sure.
Balrog evil?
Fine. The Balrog.
Balrog evil. Shut your face.
But more than half the list is good guys. And like, yeah, they're in armor.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
we
more
get
than
it.
half the list is good, guys.
Yeah, they're in armor. Yeah, we get it. They look shiny. Yeah, But like,
Hey, I didn't
dude,
want
look at those freaking
Thranduil.
teeth.
That crap's on you guys.
What about Witch? You guys don't like Witch King enough to put
Oh,
him on the
I
list?
love Witch King,
We
but
can rank them, but Aragorn's my number one. But guys,
Alright.
he's my number one.
he's your number
Aragorn?
one above Smog.
Period. Yeah, he's
Good.
perfect.
Where do you think Aragorn should be ranked, Eric?
What's the list?
Smog, the Balrog, Thorin,
Ooh.
Eomer, and then Thranduil.
Under the Balrog.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. All right. Okay, so let's get in his mouth of Sauron.
Ew! We're not
Who-
getting into Mouth of Sauron.
Who's under? Who's under? Aragorn?
Thorin.
We can put mouth of Sauron right there above Thorin.
Above the dude. He goes
That's
just
where
under
I
the
put him.
Balrog for me. But what do you think, Eric?
Above or below Aragorn?
I don't like him, but I don't know. He's so like gross and like memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So you two figure it out.
Nope. We
You're
no,
the
here's
tiebreaker,
final
bro.
vote.
You have to vote.
I put him below. He puts him above.
Going from like, then I like Aragorn.
Character design.
More.
Best character
What do you think
design.
looks cooler? Like looks better? Don't worry, bro. I'm not as into this as I am
It's just the
with
mouth.
the Iron Man armor.
Like
The
you're
mouth?
gonna, man. Yeah, you can't forget.
Yep. You
The
can't
design on
forget.
Oh, you cannot. Unfortunately.
Sweet. That means the mouth of Sauron goes number 3.
All right, and then
Sweet.
is that it? Oh, Witch King.
Witch King? Oh, dang.
Witch King looks great,
He
dude.
does. He
And
does look
see,
good,
in
but
my
I
mind-
agree. I think that Aragorn's intricacy is a little bit more than the Witch
Yeah.
King. Even though he looks cool and he's super intimidating, he's not very intricate. So I think he goes under Aragorn personally.
In my mind, it goes Yawn at number 1, Smaug at number 3, Aragorn at number 1, Smaug at number 2, the Balrog at number 3, then the Witch King.
Oh, above the mouth of Sauron. Dang.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
where I would put him.
I would too.
You'd put him above the mouth of Sauron?
Well, here's the thing: it's like I want Aragorn above him,
Yeah.
but he's also better than the Mouth of Sauron. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with him.
I think he's better than the mouth.
Where would you
Uh,
put him, Wynnston?
I already
Below
said
Aragorn?
Below Aragorn. I think
I'm
Aragorn
gonna
is
put
better.
I'm gonna put him below Aragorn just so Aragorn could stay up, keep his numbers.
Okay, so doesn't matter what Eric thinks. Get out of here, man.
But I do agree with you, Eric. But because Aragorn has been snubbed, then I cannot allow him to go higher than Aragorn. That's it, right? You guys wanna rank Oliphant, Shelob?
I mean, not really.
Nah, we're good. Yeah, I
They-
think
Okay.
those are the only ones that deserve to be on the list personally.
They're honorable mentions.
Yes.
Honorable.
Dishonorable mentions: evil elephants and spiders.
Hey,
Uh,
there are no evil elephants. There's just evil riders of elephants.
guess the body count.
Oh boy.
It's more than the last. What do you think, Eric? Because Nate's already seen it. Nate, I guess it's Eric. Guess the body count.
I'm just gonna say straight up 800.
Oh, you're super close, bro. It's 836.
Hold no, shut.
What?
Did you hear that? Shut your face, Winston.
860?
Okay, I want you to guess. I want you to guess.
816?
It's in the 800s. Where in the 800s?
816.
Pretty close.
So you ruined it, Winston.
Whatever, dude. He got 800. 836.
He might have gotten it. He might have gotten it.
And it says the fact is the highest in movie history, which is bullcrap. But
Yeah, it doesn't sound right. That's maybe at the time, but even then, that doesn't sound right.
Right.
Titanic.
And speaking of body counts, let the bodies hit the action sequence. Where are we putting it? We already know which one it is.
Yeah, the Battle of Pelennor Fields,
That's literally the name of it.
which is right next to Strawberry Fields. Forever.
I think this goes under Helm's Deep.
Nothing like a good old Beatles reference. Nah, man, dude, that charge is life, bruh. The charge is life. The fight in Minas Tirith, and then freaking Aragorn's here. Freaking grab your nuts. It's freaking over. It's freaking great, dude.
Let's not forget Legolas's cool elephant kill.
And then freaking the Witch King dying, and freaking Carl Urban freaking taking down like 2 elephants with 1 spear.
Freaking dope.
Nah,
Freaking
bro.
dupe, man.
Nah, bro. This is number 1.
Do you concur, Eric?
Always concur. Helm's Deep is great. This is better. I don't care.
I don't know. Something about Helm's Deep is about like the Urukai, and it's a night, and it's like, you know, it feels more. For me, I don't know why, but it feels even more desperate because they're like you kind of forget for a little while that Gandalf is coming, so it seems like really like just no way they're gonna make it.
I might actually go along with you on that.
Guys, but the moments, like you're right with everything you said, but there's just so many
I
great
think you're forgetting about
moments.
the moments at Helm's Deep when
What
the
moments
wall,
are there?
when the wall gets blown open, when Gandalf comes, when Gimli is thrown across,
Stop
and Aragorn.
yelling. Stop yelling. All those are great, but all the ones I said are better than any of those. Like Legolas and the elephant is better than that. Freaking the Charge of Rohan is better than that. Freaking Aragorn showing up to save the day is better than that. The Witch King getting murked is better than any of those. Like, I just gave you 4 that are better than anything that happens at Helm's Deep.
No, they aren't.
Dude, you guys are insane. The Charge of Rohan alone is
Charge of Rohan's great. It's not better than anything that happens in Helm's Deep. Just saying.
What is wrong with you people? The Charge of Rohan isn't better than anything in Helm's Deep.
You heard me? Yeah. Hot take, maybe. I don't know. That's the way I see
What
it.
are we doing here, people? Are we just like clowning? Like, what is happening? What is happening? This is like, I don't know. I don't know if this is worse than the Iron Man debacle. This is brutal, guys. This is bad. Are you kidding me?
Showing of Revisited. That's it. We're done.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying.
The stakes are so much lower. Dude, they got the giant
agree.
pig ram that blows open the doors, and then the freaking trolls bust in, and Gandalf's, whatever you do, you stand your ground, and then the freaking trolls bust in. That's going on the highlight reel.
Okay. Did you just call the thing a pig ram?
Yeah, I think it was a wolf.
wolf.
I know, but it's like a
A
pig.
wolf.
It's got little tiny piglet arms, though.
Eric,
Eric.
let's put this conversation to rest. We need to move on. Eric,
No,
where do you put it? Above or under Helm's
I
Deep?
didn't even know this was a freaking conversation. I would have prepared if I knew this travesty was gonna happen. Oh my god.
Instead, you wanted to keep going on about, oh, how cool the elf is. Oh, well, more lore for you.
Are you kidding me right now?
It just feels like there's more at stake in Helm's Deep.
How?
It feels
How?
like
It's
it doesn't.
literally.
You're right. You're right. There isn't more at stake, but it feels like there's more at stake, and that's what's important. The tension is incredibly high in Helm's Deep. There's not as much tension on this. Rohan shows up, and they start murking people. They start taking out some people.
Yeah, and then the elephants show up and freaking wipe the floor with Rohan.
It
Sure.
doesn't seem that way. Like
What are you talking about? Like one elephant kills like 20 horses in one shot, dude.
but the army size is so much bigger, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's hard to really grasp 100% the feeling of that battle.
I can't listen to this garbage.
And then
What
once
is
they
happening?
start figuring how to take out the elephants, it's just like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that one.
It seems like they're taking some punches, but they're giving out just as many punches. It seems like they're standing a chance. In the Helm's Deep, it seems like they are about to die every second. Macon, Helm's Deep number 1, number 2. I'm sorry, is the Battle of Return of the King. I can't remember what the battle was called.
Eleanor Fields.
The battle at
Strawberry
Pelennor Fields.
Or Field.
The last two.
Wait.
Do you have some more complaining to do?
Oh, bird.
Shout out to freaking for Frodo and then freaking Pippin and Merry just sprinting out behind Aragorn.
Mm-hmm.
Pippin found
Dope
his
scene.
courage.
Oh my god, you guys.
Apparently, Nate just wants a second to grasp the idea of the decision we just made. This is why I love this show. This is great. I love it. I love it when like if I disagree with something, like I disagree, but hey, it's fine. When somebody disagrees with Nate, he's like,
No.
what?
No. That's happened twice. It's
Mhm.
happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I am right on the side of light. Dude, mark my words. If this freaking channel ever gets big enough for me to be able to run a poll and it's actually worth it, we are running a freaking poll on what is the number 1 Iron Man suit and what is the number 1 battle in Lord of the Rings. And I will be vindicated.
Again, I was not part of that podcast to help the ranking of that suit.
You guys.
The last magical facts on Lord of the Rings Revisited.
Last magical facts. Nate's dying.
This movie was originally going to end with a voiceover epilogue by Galadriel detailing the fate of the Fellowship of the Ring after the events of the movie. Scenes following Gimli and Legolas for this purpose had been shot, but were not used in any version of the finished movie.
Oh man, I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
Right?
In the
Sounds
books,
awesome.
they go on like a tour of Middle Earth where like Gimli shows Legolas all the cool places that he likes, and then Legolas shows Gimli all the cool places
That's
that he
so
likes.
cool.
And then Gimli is old and is like dying, and Legolas gets the gods to allow him to go to the west, and they go to the west together.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's so cool.
They just didn't have time. They just
Yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
time. It's that simple.
And then lastly,
Oh, that eases the pain of the travesty that happened.
the last spoken line of the movie is, well, I'm back, is also the last line of the book. Bravo.
And
What
the
up?
last line of this podcast.
Cut
it.
there. That brings us to a close, though. So, Eric, it is time for you to shine. Where do you rank?
Real
Return.
quick. What's everybody's favorite character?
Ooh, oh, okay.
In
Everybody's
the whole series,
Yeah, period.
Legolas.
Is it Thor? Okay, Winston.
I really want to say Legolas as well, but I think from this watching, I think it's probably Aragorn.
Gonna say.
Yeah, it's Aragorn too.
Yeah,
I think Gandalf is my number 2.
I love Gandalf as well. Yeah, but honestly, I like Gandalf the Grey a lot more than Gandalf the White.
Yeah, Gandalf the White is pretty good, but Gandalf the Grey is better.
Mm-hmm.
It's got more spunk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's
And then
definitely-
Faramir as well. Faramir is probably number 3.
Really? I mean, I like Faramir. He doesn't do that much. It's probably Aragorn.
I like
Cool.
Gimli a lot too.
I'm thinking, like, is Gimli number 3? You know? I don't know, but he might be.
It's Legolas, Samwise,
Yeah.
Gimli.
I think Sam is also up there for number 3 as well. I'm not sure.
Eric, where do you rank Return of the King in The Lord of the Rings?
Winston, the men call Gandalf Mithrandir because that is his elven name.
Well, I know that's his elven name, but elves call him Mithrandir. Why do men call him Mithrandir instead of Gandalf?
Well, okay, which men call him Mithrandir?
The ones from Gondor.
Denethor does.
No, there's soldiers that call him Mithrandir.
I don't know. He's got a bunch of names people know. Also, the soldiers with the cool white hats looked cool that were guarding the tree.
Oh, yeah, the ones that were guarding the tree. I meant to call that out on design, like shout out. They looked awesome.
I wish they would have
They look like
freaking
they were like Palpatine's guard. Awesome, like
yeah, or like the elite honor guards in Halo 2, like right there.
sure, or that. Eric, where do you rank it?
As tough as this is, it's really close with Two Towers for me.
Mm-hmm.
But with Nate blabbing and no, let's get no, with him talking about how emotional it is, and they do wrap it up pretty well. I would say number 2.
Number 2. Nate, where do you rank Return of the King and the Lord of the Rings?
Really don't know. Like I don't know if it's number 1 or not.
No one's going to argue with you on your own list.
I don't know, man. I really
I
don't.
will, just for the sake of it. This is what I'm gonna do. I can't believe I didn't expect this. If I would have known this is how it was gonna go, I just wouldn't have showed up.
I didn't say that. I said I would have prepared.
No, I know, but that's what I would say.
Oh God, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think it's number 1, just for those moments, like the charge of Rohan and for Frodo and Gollum getting burned up extremely painfully. Just great moments. Great moments.
I can respect that. Personally, I am also putting this at number 2.
Number 7.
The group's final list for Lord of the Rings. The TWG. So those who geek list for Lord of the Rings is number 1, Fellowship of the Ring. Number 2, Return of the King. Number 3, The Two Towers. Number 4, The Battle of the Five Armies. Number 5, Desolation of the Smog. And lastly, at number 6, An Unexpected Journey. Thank you all for taking this wonderful journey with us through The Lord of the Rings. Yes, it's a lot shorter than Marvel Revisited, but we got just as much satisfaction.
Yep, and this one is actually done. Thank you so much if you've watched every single one of our 6 podcasts going over the Lord of the Rings Tolkien verse. We thank you for your loyalty and for your watching eyes.
And for hitting
Please
that subscribe
comment.
button.
And please keep in mind, I want you to check this channel every couple years. At 5,000 subscribers, I'm putting that poll up. Okay, I'm putting the poll up about the best Iron Man armor and the best battle in Lord of the Rings.
We're at 200 now, and he says we're going to be at 5,000.
Few days.
Okay.
Few days.
Get us there, guys. Thank you. No, legit. Thank you guys so much. I mean, yeah, this has been super special. Watching all these movies together as friends. Although I don't think we actually watched any of them together,
None of the Lord of the
but
Rings.
we all
no.
talked about it together. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, dude, such a great film series. It's great to have it wrapped up. Great to go through this together. You know, if anybody did follow along, please comment. We'd
Yes.
love to know your thoughts. Love to know how you feel. If you watch all 6 podcasts, we know they're long ones. Couldn't be more appreciative. Thank you. It's been a joy going over this with you guys. And there's no more Lord of the Ring movies, so I don't got no. If you've done this, watch next time.
That was the greatest way to end it, Nate.
Well, are we going to give an update on what's going on?
We've always been pretty fluid on our cast, so we'll continue to be fluid on our cast. I think the next content coming up is most likely going to be probably going to go back, take a break from Revisited for a little bit, go back to some of our our older content. Rings of Power is about to wrap up. She-Hulk's about to wrap up. Bleach is back. B-I-B. Bleach is back, so I'm probably going to start doing reaction videos. Thinking about doing reaction videos to all those for all those. And yeah, Andor's going. We might, depending on how light we get on content, we might just start reviewing episodes again. I think Wakanda Forever just came out. Didn't that happen?
I don't think so. I think that's next month.
What movie came out? Some movies come. Anyway, but Wakanda Forever is coming out soon, so we'll just review that stuff. It should be fun.
That was Lord of the Rings Revisited for you all. Thank you again so much
to
for
everybody
clicking on
and to the
video,
audience.
for all the likes, the subscribes. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. That was Those Who Geek. Until next time,
Yeah, dude.
have a magical day.
Bye-bye.
Or night.